we doing today?
The Peddler of Swaffham, an old English folk tale, adapted by Rob Wheeler.
Hundreds of years ago, a peddler and his wife lived in a village of Swaffham, England.
The peddler kept having a dream that he heard a voice that told him to go to London Bridge and stand there where he would hear joyful news.
It seemed hopeless, only a dream. He would have to travel a long way to stand on the London Bridge. He would have to sleep in barns and hedges along the way. And it seemed a long way to travel, to only hear joyful news. And so it bothered him that he kept having a dream. Over time, the voice became even more insistent, but it still seemed so purposeless.
It bothered him so much that he dreaded to go upstairs to bed.
And so one day he said to his wife,
It is no use. I shall have to go to London and stand on the London Bridge. If I don't, I shall have no peace for the rest of my life.
And so the peddler gathered a few belongings, so food, a little money, and he walked along to the London Bridge. When he got there, the next several days, he stood on the bridge, first at one spot and then hearing nothing, moving to another spot, until it seemed that he stood at one time or another in all spots on the bridge. He felt like he was a fool to come, and yet he stayed.
He stayed until his money was gone and there was only a crust of bread in his pocket.
He knew he must return to his home soon. And when he decided he must return, a shopkeeper approached him. Shopkeeper told him, "Satisfy my curiosity, please. The past several days, I have seen you standing on the bridge. You do not beg. You do not pick pockets. You sell nothing. Why continue to stand there?" The peddler responded,
I keep having a dream that if I stand on the London Bridge, I would hear some joyful news. At first, it seemed meaningless to go a long way for nothing, but it persisted. Night after night until I decided that I must do what the voice said and maybe it would strike.
The shopkeeper burst out laughing.
Oh, don't be bothered by such a dream. Why, I keep having the dream that if I go to Swaffham, a place that I've never even heard of, and I ask for the peddler's home, go into his orchard and dig under his oak tree, I will find a great treasure. What nonsense.
At once, the peddler hurried home to Swaffham.
He went into his orchard and started digging under the oak tree.
There he found a chest of gold and silver so much that he made him and his wife rich, and it lasted them the rest of their lives.
And being a thankful man, he gave much money to help feed others.
Wonderful. Take a bow, my friends. 1, 2, 3, and up. Get your other parts, and we'll start that. All righty then. Are we ready to begin? What's the name of the next piece?
Legend of Slappy Hooper,
Okay.
an American tall tale.
You've heard about Paul Bunyan, the greatest lumberjack of all time.
And you heard about Beckles Bill, the greatest cowboy. Now let us tell you about the world's
Biggest, fastest,
and bestest sign painter.
that's me, Slappy Hooper.
Watch your scripts.
You better believe Slappy was biggest. Why, he was 7 feet tall with shoulders to match. And he weighed 300 pounds even without his coveralls and brush and bucket.
And fastest,
Just give me an 8-inch brush.
don't let your scripts cover your face.
And you bet Slappy was bestest. He was an account of his pictures. No one else has ever made them so true to life. In fact, some folks said they were too true to life.
Slappy's trouble started with the huge rose he painted on a sign for Rose Flower Shop.
Slappy, it's so real. Slappy, said Miss Rose, the owner. Why, I can just about smell that fragrance. But a week later, Rose Red fluttered into Slappy's sign shop. Slappy, that sign of yours was too good.
Too good?
That's right. The bees got a wind of it and swarmed all over that rose, trying to get in. They scared all my customers away. That was bad enough. But wait till you see what happened now. When they reached the florist shop, Slappy saw the bees were gone, but the rose has withered and died. No one buys from a florist who has a withered flower on her sign. That's the last thing you'll pay for me, Slappy Hooper.
The story got around, but most folks just laughed and they still wanted Slappy to do their signs.
His next job was to paint a billboard for the Eagle Messenger Service. Slappy painted an eagle 3 times larger than life. Amazing, said Mr. Baldwin Eagle. It is so real. I could swear I saw it blink. Wait a minute. I did see it blink. Then the bird flapped its wings and flew right off the billboard. That sign was too good. That's the last time you'll work for me, Slappy Hooper.
Folks were getting scared to hire Slappy, but at last he got a job from the Sunshine Travel Agency.
The billboard was shown to a man and woman on the beach, roasting under a hot sun. Slappy painted it the day after a big snowstorm. Wonderful, said Mr. Ray Sunshine. That sun makes me feel hot. And look, the snow on the sidewalk is melting. But a couple days later, Slappy got a call. Slappy, your sign is too good. Get down here right now.
When Slappy arrived, he saw that the sidewalks and streets in front of the billboard were covered in beach chairs. People sat around in swimming suits and sunglasses, sipping lemonade and splashing sun lotion.
They're blocking traffic and the mayor blames me. Besides, they won't need my travel agency if they take their vacations here. You've got to do something, Slappy. So, Slappy set up his gear and got to work. He painted on the billboard much hotter sun. Before long, the crowd was sweating buckets and complaining of sunburn. And then everyone laughed up, packed up, and left. Good work, Slappy. Look at that! The man and the woman were walking off the billboard also. Just then, a lick of flame shot up on the wall of the building across the street. Slappy's sign had set on fire within a few minutes. Fire trucks clammed up, the firefighters turned hoses on the flames. Slappy, try something else.
Slappy got back to work. He painted a storm cloud across that sun, but he had to jump clear when the cloud shot out bolts of lightning.
Then the storm broke. Slappy's cloud rained so hard, the billboard overflowed and flooded all of Main Street. Never again, Slappy Hooper. After that, no one on the earth would hire Slappy. It looked like his sign painting days were done.
Slappy felt so low, he made up his mind to throw his paint kit in the river. He dragged it onto the tallest bridge in town and was just about to chuck it when a voice thundered out beside him.
Don't dump that gear. You're gonna need it. Right next to Slappy stood a man almost as big as Slappy, who wore a pink Scotch and white cover with 2 angels sticking out on it. He carried an 8-inch book.
Who are you?
In fact, some folks say they were... I'm Michael for sign company. The boss has an eye on you for some time. Slappy, and he likes your work. He's got a job for you if you don't mind working in the rain.
Tell me about it,
Said Slappy.
That Wednesday.
No? Okay, so tell me.
Tell me about it.
We need someone to paint a rainbow this Wednesday. Most of the time we handle all the rainbows ourselves, but it's going to rain a bunch of places Wednesday, and we could sure use some help.
I'm your man,
Said Slappy.
That Wednesday morning, Slappy rented a cabin set in the big cow pasture. He tied 2 ropes in his scaffolding, then ran on the other end through the couple skyhooks. Then they loaded the skyhooks in the canyon and shot up straight up. Boom!
Sure enough, the skyhooks caught on the sky.
Slappy felt for a stranger. He piled all his paint brushes into his scaffolding and hoisted himself up, and up. He kept going until he was under the clouds. Then he tied his ropes and started to paint. Slip, slop, slap. He only just finished when the sun popped off and the clouds lit up what he had done. There never was a finer rainbow. It had every color you could imagine. Each one blended in perfectly within the next. And not a brush stroke in sight. Just then, Slappy felt a big jolt. He looked up and to see what caused it. Oh no.
The sun had run smack into the skyhooks.
Slappy shut his eyes and waited for the alarm drop to the ground, but it never came. Slappy looked again. Slappy's hook had caught on to the sun itself, and the sun was pulling its rigs across the sky. Now another sun painter might have been frightened, but not Slappy Hooper. He was enjoying the ride. For heaven's sake. He covered a good distance when Michael appeared on the scaffold beside him.
The boss liked your rainbow, Slappy.
You mean it? You mean it wasn't too good?
If it isn't too good, it's not good enough. That's how we figure. Anyhow, now that you're here, the boss has another job for you if you don't mind working odd hours.
Tell me about it.
It's the sunrise and sunset. I guess you know the boss himself has been painting them since time began. But he's done it so long he'd like to give someone else a chance.
I'm your man, said Slappy Hooper. Slappy's been up there ever since. Of course you can't see him with the sun so bright, but he is there all the same.
Night and day, the sun pulls Slappy and his rig around the road, and every time Slappy comes to our horizon, he reaches up with his 8-inch brush.
Slip, slop, splat. The job was done, and never a brush stroke in sight.
Very nice. Take a bow. All right.